How do you do, G-Pod crew? It's your nutty buddy Putty here, and today we are reviewing Chippendale Rescue Rangers, created by The Lonely Island.
Lonely Island!
Now, what I mean by created by The Lonely Island, it is actually directed by AKIVA SCHAFFER and stars both John Mulaney, which he isn't part of Lonely Island, but also Andy Samberg, and he is part of Lonely Island. And for me, if you don't know, I am a huge, huge fan of The Lonely Island. Oop, wrong side. This side. And of Chippendales Rescue Rangers. Both are thumbs up for me. And I really did enjoy this movie. It's kind of basically a Who Framed Roger Rabbit sequel that we always wanted and never got. Throughout this whole thing, it was an enjoyable ride. I would say the age difference is if you're young, you're going to love it. And if you're actually my age, you're going to love it because of the nostalgia. So if you have kids that of your own that are young that you want to sit down and watch a movie with, this is the movie to watch it with. Has some adult jokes in there that they would never get. And of course, a lot of fun stuff, and there's going to be stuff for them and for you as a big kid, I guess you could say. So without a doubt, Chippendale Rescue Rangers is a must-see. It was a fun ride. All the actors were great. Seth Rogen was hilarious. John Mulaney, Andy Samberg. I do have a little bit of a situation with one of the characters, and it's only on a personal nature, and it's probably the only thing I didn't like about this movie. And if you know me, you know why. Just my name. That's all I'm going to say. So if you're from Lonely Island or the people that made this movie, shame. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie. Come back for my full breakdown, and you'll understand why I'm saying that. So, I want to go ahead and say this up front. This is a long breakdown. I want to make my spoilers review short and sweet, so you guys don't get spoiled, but it's an enjoyable ride. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my new point system. So the way this is going to work is this. I have a thing called review achievements, and what's going to happen is I'm going to go through each one and give you my score on it, and see, as a total, if you agree with this or not. So the first thing I want to go to is plot. And with plot, I ended up giving it a 8. Now, it's a good plot. It's fun. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There is a reason for it to exist. It's not the best plot in the world, but for something that's more targeted towards kids, most definitely good plot. Casting, in my eyes, is really, really good. I ended up giving that a 9. I didn't think I would like Andy Samberg and John Mulaney as Chip and Dale since they have the high squeak voice, but they work really well, and that's just the nature of it. Special effects, I'm giving it top notch. This is in the realm of Spider-Man's Into the Spider-Verse. They were on par with the special effects when it came to this movie. Very on par. Next is lore. Now, I will say the lore is a lower number because it does go into the original lore, but it doesn't stick with it, especially with a few things I do bring up in my full breakdown that I do end up stating about as well. So, again, once you've seen the movie, again, it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, you don't have to go to theaters. Go check it out. Next, we have newcomers. This is probably going to be the lowest number. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of nostalgias here. And I feel like the nostalgia is what's really going to grip people. The story's good for younger viewers, but I feel like if you're like a teenager, you may not like it as much, especially if there's nothing referencing you like. So I decided to drop this down to a 6, thinking that's probably the best score. But if I was to go overall, and this is again based on how I felt, I loved this movie. It was very enjoyable, surprising not in theaters. And I'm thinking the reason it's not in theaters is because they would have probably had to pay more in royalties for all the cameos that happened. That's all I'm going to say. So for me, out of 1 out of 10, I gave this an overall score of 8. Chippendale Rescue Rangers is a fun ride. It is very enjoyable. It is worth having Disney Plus and to sit down and watch it. But the biggest thing is everything that's in the full breakdown. So, with that being said, I'm going to state this right now. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. I'm going to be spoiling everything in this next part in my full breakdown. So, be ready, stop this video, go watch it, come back. It's a, how long? It is a 36 minute full breakdown. No, 35. Anyway, it's long. It's long. I go through a lot of Easter eggs and I don't even get them all. So you've been warned. Full breakdown happening right now as we speak. Let's go. And before I get into this, I do want to state one thing. This took me a long time. You're going to notice that as soon as I start this full breakdown, it is completely nighttime around me. The light is on, but it's completely dark. And you're going to see the stage of it going from 3 a.m. in the morning until it is now 8:31 a.m. in the morning. That's how long it took me, because I did the breakdown before I did my review. So I can get every Easter egg I can find. And I don't even get all of them. That's how many that's in here. There's a lot. So you're going to see me gradually do this review from 3 a.m. until 8:30 a.m. This is going to be fun to watch, especially even for myself. So with that being said, let's go into the first Easter egg. Well, right off the bat, we go directly into the first Easter egg that literally is in the beginning of this movie, right at the Disney castle. So if you look right above me, right here, right up there, you actually see the Disney castle. So what happens is, as in this scene you see, or at the beginning of this, you actually see the castle change. And first we have a reference to Frozen, the Frozen castle from Frozen. Then we have Agrabah right here. And I'm guessing on this last one, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. This is Mulan right here. Or it could be Emperor's New Groove. I'm pretty sure this is Mulan. I'm pretty sure this right side is Mulan. So we have Mulan, the Aladdin's castle, and then the Frozen castle, all in one thing. And that's literally the beginning of the movie. We haven't even started the movie yet. We already have Easter eggs. In 1982, I was 2 years old. You do the math. So, just as a heads up, in case you're wondering, none of these cartoon characters you see on the screen are familiar to me. I would have been 2 years old in 1982, so the time frame would have been different. But I don't think any of these are actually real cartoon characters. So if you know of any of these being cartoon characters that you know, tell me in the comments below. Now, you'll notice on Chip's lunchbox, it says Knight Rider on there. Now, if you're not familiar, Knight Rider is an 80s TV show with David Hasselhoff and a talking car. I don't have a reference point for it because we need to move along, because there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs to get into. But again, look up Knight Rider. It is a show about a talking car and a guy named Michael that drives the car, played by David Hasselhoff. This is a love letter. Again, I probably said this already in my review, but as I stated, I love comedy albums. I love Weird Al Yankovic, I love The Lonely Island, and I love Tenacious D. And the song that's playing right now during the scene is Tenacious D. Lonely Island, you just know how to hit the heartstrings for me. So I decided to name these Cartoon Mashup because I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of cartoon characters randomly sporadic here, because, again, this is a love letter I've heard to Roger Rabbit. So first things we have is what is a Transformer right here. You can I didn't know first it was. It actually looks like it's a mixture of a GoBot and a Transformer, but it's a Transformer nonetheless because it's got the Transformer logo. She looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on who she is. And I think this character could possibly be from that newer Disney movie. I'm not sure. But looking at this, I don't see anybody else that looks familiar. So, of course, I'm probably going to hear in the comments below something I missed. So make sure you mark the location I talk about it and what I missed. But, yeah, it looks like we do have several cartoon characters here, and one of those being a Transformer.
So I was wondering if this was going to be addressed. Their voices are not the Chipmunk voices we know from the old cartoons, and of course the original Chippendales Rescue Rangers from 1989. And I love how they address it as their comedy or their performance in this movie. So bravo to that.
No way. We're getting a Full House reference. Amazing. And this is the original Rescue Rangers show. What you're seeing here is actually a clip from the original Rescue Rangers that I grew up on, 1989. And then the year before that was what this movie references, Roger Rabbit, which I'm sure we'll get to later on. And now we got our first Lonely Island reference. So The guy you're seeing right here, right above here, and also we're going to see the cartoon mashup here too, but I'm not even going to mention it. We'll just leave that here. That there is the scientist that you see in the Rescue Rangers here, and the gorilla. These are characters that are actually in the show, but I'm pointing out the director that you see right here. This is AKIVA SCHAFFER. Here's the meta. He actually directed this movie and is a part of Lonely Island. If you look right here, AKIVA SCHAFFER is right here in the picture on the CD, or you can actually find him on the left-hand side right there on the CD. So, like I stated, Lonely Island has a major part in setting this up. That Andy Samberg does the voice. By the way, again, if I didn't point out before, Andy Samberg's right there. He's the voice of Dale, and of course, now we have a meta of AKIVA SCHAFFER as the director of an episode of Rescue Rangers, who is actually the director of this movie, Rescue Rangers. That's some fourth wall breaking. Deadpool be proud. In 1990, I was 10 years old. Again, do the math. Oh, and a year from now, a certain blue hedgehog comes along. Okay, so a lot of people aren't aware, especially nowadays, that in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, preferably late 80s, early 90s, doing cartoons mixed with live action was a huge deal. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Of course, you're seeing this in Chippendales Rescue Rangers now. And then this part right here. This is actually, I can't remember the name of the cat. They actually have a name for this cat online. I can't remember the name of the cat. But this is Paula Abdul. And this is actually based on her video called Opposites Attract. Where in the music video, she's singing. She's actually an artist, if you're not aware. She's singing to this cat about opposites attract. And he's like, we can be lovers. You make the bed. And he steals the covers. And it was one of those songs I was like really addicted to as a kid. Especially since I loved Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Loved animation mixed with live action. And then we got a music video mixed with live action and animation. And this is the moment I thought I'd tear up a little bit. But this is Roger Rabbit. I was obsessed with Roger Rabbit. And I mean, I loved Roger Rabbit. This is, right now, my 9-year-old self, 8-year-old self, I think Roger Rabbit came out in 1988, is freaking out right now. And you don't believe me? Well, here's the proof. Right here. That is a picture of me as a kid with the Who Framed Roger Rabbit stuffed animal. I'm not joking. That is real. I'm going to admit to that. Yes, that is a picture of me holding my Who Framed Roger Rabbit stuffed animal. And again, the meta in this is that Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a movie about cartoon characters mixed with live action. And as we see in this movie, that's what we're getting. Lonely Island. We need to become friends. Not just because I'm a huge fan, but because we have a lot in common. A lot. Now in this scene, you'll notice that Dale, I'm always pointing in the wrong direction. Dale, I gotta remember, toward the TV. Dale is wearing a outfit that is a reference to MC Hammer, and the song that starts playing when he starts dancing is MC Hammer. Again, that's the 90s, kids. That's the 90s. Now this makes more sense. Now that we're in the present day, we're going to be seeing more of the present day characters. This is the Baloo from the newest Jungle Book live action movie. And so we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of the newer versions of Disney characters than the old 80s, 90s. But I am curious to find out who this guy is right here. I mean, that might not be a character, but it looks like something that would be in my childhood. And now we have the candlestick Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. They put the ugly Sonic in here. Sonic's in this movie. Oh man, I'm about to cry. Sonic is in this movie. What? What? Someone is in my brain. Here we have a Wonder Woman cosplay. And here we have Tigra. Tigra is a Marvel Comics character that has basically superhuman abilities, a super sight, like just heightened abilities of everything. Hearing, seeing, quickness, things of that nature. She has done things that you can see back here. She's done a Marvel team up with Spider-Man. And she is a major part of, well, not a major part, but a small part, I should say, of Marvel Comics. So they're making a joke on her being not big, incredible, just like Ugly Sonic, and of course, Dale. And might I add that we are only 10 minutes into the video, and my breakdown is going to be just as long as this movie is going to be. This is just going to be crazy. Another great reference. So he mentions that Baloo is part of the Disney Afternoon. So those unaware, again, this is not the same Baloo, as in this is the live action Baloo. But the original Baloo from the original Jungle Book movie, the animated one, ends up becoming a character on his own show called Tailspin. And for those unaware, which I'm probably sure I mentioned this in a review, I don't know. There was a whole block of cartoons back when I was a kid, around 1988 and so on and so forth, that contained Gummy Bears, DuckTales, of course, Chippendales Rescue Rangers. Then there was also Tailspin with Baloo, which he was basically a pilot. And then, of course, there were other things like Darkwing Duck, and I think even Gargoyles came out later within that series. And then Goof Troop and things of that nature. My point to the whole thing is what's making this so great is all the references they're doing to all those old things and to what is now. And it just fits my persona. And to know that Lonely Island is so into this kind of stuff doesn't make me feel as awkward about talking about it when someone so famous and so beloved also had this kind of childhood. Here we have Shaun the Sheep. This is a Wallace and Gromit character, but clearly needs some shearing around the eyes. This is Flounder from the Little Mermaid movie. The animated one. I'm sure it's a live action one eventually. Now this one's interesting. We are now in Chip's freezer, and apparently there's a crossover I didn't ever expect. But let's go and start from the left-hand side. We have the Ice Age ice cream with the Ice Age prehistoric squirrel. I never knew exactly what that creature was. Then we have Frozone Food Veggie Medley, which has Frozone from the Incredibles movie. And then on the right here, we have Foghorn Leghorn with Chicken Hawk. This is a Looney Tunes dinner that was something owned by Warner Brothers. How is it in a Disney movie? This is Who Framed Roger Rabbit all over again, and my childhood had returned. And speaking of Warner Brothers, make sure you check out Multiverses Insider. Shameless plug for my other channel, but I did get into the closed alpha for Multiverses, so make sure you go check out that channel. Anyway, let's continue. And here we have the Chipmunks, which is kind of funny because Chip and Dale are both chipmunks as well. But now we think about it, and this is the odd part about things. Chipmunks was owned by Fox. Fox was bought out by Disney. Disney now owns the Chipmunks and Chip and Dale. I mean, we did see Ice Age ice cream, which is owned by Fox before. Disney, man, you're just knock it out of the park. Now, since a lot of you might be young and not know, Monterey Jack is one of the original Chippendales Rescue Rangers, and his trait, much like some of the other characters you'll hopefully see later, his trait was that he was addicted to cheese. And if they were in a situation where they were trying to sneak into the bad guy's lair, things of that nature, no matter what, if he smelled cheese, it wouldn't stop him. He would literally go straight to the smell of cheese, even if it would get him caught. Anything. So clearly that trait is still available at his older age, but now it's getting him into trouble. Now, as I stated in the TV earlier, we had Flounder from The Little Mermaid. If you look at what he's holding a fork and calling it a dingle hopper. This is a reference to when Ariel from The Little Mermaid didn't know what things were called on the land, so she was just giving them weird names, and that was one of the names she gave for a fork, a dingle hopper. I'm a little bit weirded out by this one. So here we see Gadget, which is the mouse. Gadget's the techie of the group. She's always making techie stuff, and she always had her little pal Zipper around her. When I was younger, Gadget and Zipper were just pals. Like, Zipper seemed like it was Gadget's pet, but not a pet because it actually was, obvious. I mean, it didn't talk. It just made like noises. But my point to the whole thing is Gadget and Zipper got together and had kids. Now, for those unaware, there's this thing called the Hollywood Walk of Fame where celebrities get stars. And clearly, even Nickelodeon is in this because you see Squidward's star right here. And then you see Yogi Bear's star right here. I can't make out whose star this is in the background here. But clearly Squidward and Yogi Bear have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Even they made jokes about it. This is, you know what's funny? I foresee this actually happening. Fast and the Furious babies. They make so many Fast and Furious movies over there at Universal that I could see this happening. But then, of course, we have President Dog 3 in the background. But the Fast and the Furious babies, oh man, that's gotta be the best. Mr. Doubtfire. The parodies in here are amazing. Weird Al Yankovic would be proud. Come on, guys, you're killing me here. Chun-Li from Street Fighter has her own star, too. Get out of my brain. Batman vs. E.T. Oh, my God. The references in here are amazing. Oh, I'm falling in love with this movie, and I'm only 19 minutes in, and I still have an hour and 18 minutes, and it's like 4:30 in the morning. Oh, no, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I started this at 3. Oh, this breakdown is crazy. It's honestly odd to see this joke in there. So the joke I'm referring to is these are Chippendales dancers. That's what the joke is. Even when I said I was going to go watch Chippendales, I had my friends laughing at me like, "Oh, you're going to watch some male strippers?" And they're literally making the joke right here. And this is on Disney Plus. Now, if you're not aware, these are actually the donuts from Wreck-It Ralph that were that you see in the candy area and all the little snacks. Yeah, these are the donuts as officers. Actually, I think they were already officers before. Yeah, they were. I've been waiting for this moment. Now, the character you see on the screen is a police officer. He is a captain. Before I give you the name of this character, which, I'm sure they say it eventually in the movie, but I stopped here because by the voice, I knew who this was. You see, I actually looked up the casting for this movie because I was trying to figure out who John Mulaney and Andy Samberg play in this movie. And right beside both of their names was an actor's name. That actor's name is J.K. Simmons, a.k.a. the one and only guy that is always looking for Spider-Man. Yes, this is J. Jonah Jameson from the Spider-Man movies, playing a captain police officer. Guess what the name of this captain is? It's Captain Me. No, not Captain Me. That's not the actual name. No, I mean Captain Me. Me. His name is Captain Putty. Captain Putty. If you've made it this far into this video, spam hashtag Captain Putty in the chat. Lonely Island. Ugly Sonic. Roger Rabbit. Captain Putty. Played by J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. Need I say more? Get out of my brain. Oh, hey look. A Scooby-Doo reference. By the way, did I mention my new channel, Multiverses Insider? You should go check it out. Muppet fights. Muppets are owned by Disney. Holy crap, they made an CRUMB reference. So, CRUMB was a character like Fritz the Cat, things of nature, which are very adult-oriented cartoons and comics. But they threw in one of his characters. I can't remember what the name of this character is. But even they have, oh my god, they even have the CRUMB style of art in the background. What? Wow, this movie is so meta. This is a deep lore. CRUMB is deep lore. Dang. Okay, this is clearly an Easter egg or a joke on the horrid Cats movie that was created based on the hit musical. And I've never seen it, but I've seen clips, and it looks horrid. As in horrible. Oh, man, you're going to have to be living under a rock if you don't know who SHREK is, but the SHREK body wash. Anyway, Donkey, SHREK, Donkey. Don't need to explain anymore. If you're here and you don't know who SHREK and Donkey are, it's probably not going to be the movie for you. Just being honest. Sweet Pete is Peter Pan. That's hilarious. Okay, who's Peter Pan? Well, one of the most well-known Disney and just stories of Neverland and da-da-da-da, and you know who Peter Pan is. Again, if you're here and you don't know who Peter Pan is, then I'm shocked. This is clearly the Coca-Cola polar bear. Just saying, it is. And if you don't know about that, then you don't see those Christmas commercials. You know, the polar bear around Christmas selling Coca-Cola? Yeah, that's this bear. Now you'll notice here that Sweet Pete, aka Peter Pan, says Bangarang. Now the reason I'm bringing this up is because in the original Peter Pan cartoon, there was no reference to Bangarang. But they then later made a movie called Hook that starred Robin Williams as an older Peter Pan. Just like this being an older Peter Pan. But in that movie, there's a character by the name of Rufio that would yell out Bangarang. So this is clearly a cross-reference to that. So is this like the same Peter Pan that ends up being Robin Williams' Peter Pan? Who knows, but the Bangarang reference is pretty cool. This has got to be like the most Easter eggs, little hints of everything that I've ever had to point out. This is clearly the girl from Tangled, Rumpelstiltskin. And apparently it's a toy that the hair grows out, which makes total sense because it's tangled. But God, the references. Okay, so Peppa Pig is a reference to a children's cartoon that I honestly never got to watch. I just know because a lot of memes have been pushed on me through my Discord, so on and so forth, that I finally found out what Peppa Pig is. So, hey, it's a reference that I don't know about, but at least it's there and exists. Okay, another reference to a Nickelodeon Junior cartoon. Peppa Pig was one of them. Then there's Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is a bunch of dogs that save people and everything. And I know about this because of an SNL sketch. Yeah, deep-rooted. Disney's using Nickelodeon too. Crazy. Oh, it's the Chippendales Rescue Rangers video game. Oh my God, I remember playing this so much. They had other games like DuckTales out, and everyone loved the DuckTales game. There was DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, and Chippendales. They might have made the Tailspin one as well, but I remember Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, because you actually played as Scrooge McDuck, and you get to hop on your cane. But I loved playing Chippendales Rescue Rangers. It was one of my favorite video games of all time. And to see it referenced here, oh my God. The nostalgies. Wow. POGS. Oh my God. I used to collect POGS. POGS are these little round cardboard discs that you would actually play this game where you try to slap down POGS. It was the stupidest game ever. But you would collect POGS. And I remember, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody that was talking about POGs in a different way, and I was like, no, the POGs I grew up is exactly what you see here, the POGs. Wow. And I had a couple of these Rescue Ranger POGs, too. That's insane. The nostalgia feelies I'm feeling right now. God, this movie's so good. I mean, at least for someone like me. It's made for someone like me. Okay, I'm done. I've got to say this right now. This is Disney Plus we're talking about. And I told you guys that they're doing basically Who Framed Roger Rabbit again. This movie is based on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Understand, when it comes to Disney, you think, is there anything that they won't, that wouldn't allow on Disney in any form or any reason? Especially if they made fun of Mickey Mouse and said he was like the worst criminal, like Hitler-sized criminal. That cartoon would never be allowed to be in any way associated with Disney Plus. Disney Plus, thank you for allowing Lonely Island to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Marsh from South Park, right up here. Randy Marsh from South Park is in this bathhouse in Chippendales Rescue Rangers. Randy Marsh from South Park is in Chippendales Rescue Rangers. I'm going to repeat this again. Randy Marsh from South Park is in Chippendales Rescue Rangers. This movie is amazing. Remember when I referenced DuckTales earlier? Well, there you go. Scrooge McDuck. Remember earlier when I said that Andy Samberg is doing the voice of Dale here, and he is part of the Lonely Island? He's the middle guy right here. Right here. He's an SNL cast member. He's an artist on the Lonely Island albums, and all the songs they do is rapping. They drop bars. So Dale's about to drop the mic and drop a few bars, and if you aren't living on Earth, you're clearly living on Mars. So let's hear what he's got to say and enjoy it today, because dropping dope bars is always the way. Rugrats, a cartoon that actually wasn't originally Nick Jr. It was actually a cartoon that just came on Nickelodeon, and then it became Nick Jr., I think. Either way, it's pretty funny to reference that. Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, Disney, Fox, everything is allowed, basically. Okay, so now we have the cartoons on the wall. So the first one they brought up was In Here Sneezy. Then, of course, they brought up, we got Garfield, really muscly Garfield. Okay, so they just went through a bunch of cartoons, and I think I just saw what I actually told my friend Nikki, if they put this in there, I would flip. Let's see here. Okay, so this is clearly Rick and Morty right here. Old Mickey Mouse style. Here we have a Simpsons style. This is clearly Batman over here, but as a cat, I think. But you can't tell me that's not trying to be Deadpool. I mean, it's got yellow on it. I don't know if it's something else they're trying to be, but look at the eyes. This is clearly Deadpool-ish. Ren and Stimpy. Tell me, do you think that was Deadpool? Because it looked like Deadpool to me. I could be wrong. I may be just reaching. I don't know. That one was hard. But if that's still even a minute Deadpool. We've had Ugly Sonic, Deadpool. If they bring in Boba Fett with My Name, Putty, Roger Rabbit, the other stuff, this movie is pretty much, hey, let's go into Putty Man's head. Alright. Here we go. This is what I'm calling the crazy wall. We're going to start from the right and go, and I'm going to only pick the ones that I know for a fact I know, okay? So I don't know who this is right here, or this. So far on the right, I don't know. This, yeah, I don't know either. This is actually or this is actually a Smurf's head. That looks familiar, but I can't think what it is. This is Jimmy Neutron's head. That looks familiar, but I can't see it from here. It's too hard. That could be Minnie's bow. This is definitely the Pink Panther's mouth. This is the Mad Hatter's hat. Oh my god. They have the key sword from Kingdom Hearts in here. Let's see here. Mickey Mouse's glove. Let me go ahead and move the cursor so I can see if I can see some of the other stuff. And I am kind of skimming around, so make sure you look at the screen. I'll point out with the cursor if I see anything. I don't see anything else that's really distinctive at the moment, but I know I'm missing something. Like, I know this umbrella is from, oh, this is Jiminy Cricket's umbrella right here, left hand side over here. Oh, this is hard. This looks like Kung Fu, what was it, the Kung Fu dog. I can't think of his name. That looks like his nose. This could be, no, that's not Yosemite Sam's. I can't believe they got the key sword in here. Let's go. Oh, this could be Pikachu's tail right here. And they might get closer to some of these too. So, I really won't go into detail about it, but that's just some of the ones. I don't know whose sword this is. Man, Lonely Island really, really went into distinct. And I know I'm missing stuff, but I did state earlier I'm going to be missing a lot of stuff because there's just way too many to point at. But I've done what I can, and I feel I've done pretty well. So let's continue. Jeez, the Easter eggs still keep on coming. We have Senator Butthead from Beavis and Butthead, and says, vote to get tough on bootleg laws. Off the break hole. Paul Rudd talking about Ant-Man at FanCon. Just had to make sure you're aware that's Ant-Man. Hey, we got My Little Pony. Friendship is magic, and I'm pretty sure the world knows about ponies and bronies, and I'm not one of them. It's Pickle Rick! And this is a lost boy from Peter Pan. That's why he recognizes Peter. Jeez, this is just a cornucopia. Now it's not even catering to me, it's catering to everyone. Literally, He-Man and Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. And you've seen, I've done reviews for both the first and second season of Kevin Smith's version of Masters of the Universe, so I'm clearly a fan because I've been doing it since I was a kid. Screw it. Here's a picture of me. Here we go. Here's a picture of me opening up Castle Grayskull. If you didn't see it in the Master Universe video, you see it now. Roger Rabbit, now He-Man. There you go. That's funny. If you guys don't realize it, well, clearly you can see by the picture up there, that Chip looks like he's always wearing Indiana Jones gear, and he's now wearing Indiana Jones gear. This is hilarious. Okay, now we have the cosplayers, so let's go through this. So first off, I don't know who this is to the left here, but clearly this is someone dressed up as Pee Wee Herman. Don't know who this is here or this is here. This is Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. Borat. Don't know who she is. That looks familiar, but for the life of me, I can't think of what it is. Oh, that's George Jetson from the Jetsons. And that's not Joker, is that supposed to be Joker, aka the Joaquin Phoenix Joker? Not sure, but there you go. And here we have Voltron, a stand-up, and Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And I've been waiting for this. Now, I knew this part happened, but I didn't know it was this much. So the guy that's playing the one that they're all looking over is Bob, and he's voiced by Seth Rogen. The reason this is funny is just because it's meta. It's because all these characters you're seeing above him are voiced by him, Seth Rogen. There is Pumbaa from The Lion King and Timon and Pumbaa, aka the live-action Lion King. You have Grasshopper from Kung Fu Panda on the left-hand side, and then I can't remember the name of it, but it's a movie about monsters, giant monsters, and he's that blue goo on the right-hand side. And Seth Rogen has voiced every single one of these characters. That's why this is funny. Next, we have the Flintstones dinosaur, and you actually notice that they actually slide down the tail of the dinosaur just like Fred Flintstone does. The hell? Really? Putty's got to be the bad guy? Why am I the bad guy? Why am I the bad guy? You got to make Putty the bad guy. He's got to be the bad guy. Why? Why is Putty the bad guy? I'm a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. Why am I the bad guy? Not happy. Putty's not the bad guy. He's a good guy. This was poorly written. Lonely Island, you did great until you got to this point. And I kind of knew this was going to happen for some reason. I'm not happy about that either. Why the bad guy? It's well known that in most Disney movies, they hide Mickey ears. Do you see them? Are they hidden well enough? Okay, so this is going to be hard to do. But based on what I've seen so far, Composite Pan, or Composite Peter, I call it Composite Pan, consists of the original bad guy from Rescue Rangers. He's got Wreck-It Ralph's arm. One leg is a Transformer. The other one is Woody from Toy Story. I can't tell what this arm is. I'm sure I can notice it if I let it go through, so let's check real quick. Okay, so continuing off what I said first off, if you don't know who Pooch the Fat Honey Bear is a reference to, that's definitely Winnie the Pooh. But going off of Composite Pan, again, left, or the right leg I should say, is Woody's. Left is Optimus Prime's. Left arm is Wreck-It Ralph, the cat from, of course, the original Rescue Rangers. And then the gun is actually from Buzz Lightyear's villain. I can't think of his name right now. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me. But yes, that is the composite pan. There you go. Bootleg Simpsons Magic Carpet, and it was just written by the guy that was Goofy's enemy that was dressed as Aladdin. I can't think of his name, but you know, yeah. We've got a lot here, so I'm going to miss a lot. I'm just saying. This is a reference to Jurassic Park when the T-Rex jumps in, killing the raptors in the first Jurassic Park movie. Yes, I do remember that stuff. That's what I based my character, Silly Putty, off of that. And the whole idea of Putty is that he is a superhero that can basically change himself into anything he wants, including other superheroes, because he can just slap himself across the comic book and become that comic book. Ah, it stuck to my face like Silly Putty. Remember that stuff? Yes. And he was a good guy, not a bad guy like you. They ruined my character's name. And it's funny because I love this movie, and I love The Lonely Island, and I love Ugly Sonic, and I love everything about this until they made Putty the bad guy. Why? Well, it looks like Monterey Jack got Dumbo's ears. So, there you go. And no mustache either. No mustache and Dumbo's ears. Okay, if you remember, I brought up the whole Disney afternoon cartoons, and there's Darkwing Duck. I was wondering if they're going to refer to any of the other cartoons that happened around that time, and it's nice to see my buddy Darkwing Duck in here. And there you guys have it. That is my full breakdown and spoiler-free review for Chippendales Rescue Rangers. Now, if you remember, I stated before there was one thing I didn't like, and I'm going to go ahead and state it now, and we already know he's right there on the screen. Why is Putty the bad guy? Like, I'm hoping maybe The Lonely Island or somebody from this company will see this and go, we're sorry for making you the bad guy. And then, of course, maybe you'd be like, okay, well, you can make it up by, you know, give me an autograph or let me be in the next music video or something like that. But you never know. That probably won't happen. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching my full breakdown review. And as always, I am Putty with the G-Pot crew. And you know what we do. Write reviews and full breakdowns too. Putty's not the bad guy, but the rest of this was amazing. I'll see you guys next time.